I got my phone going too.
Sorry, Frank.
Yo, dude, you know what's fucking crazy? Welcome back to Listen, I'm a Barber podcast. Today, I have to shoot a little bit differently, but this is so special to me. I got my man and the future Mr. Olympia champion, Nick Walker. Nick, what's good, baby?
What's up, man?
Not shit, dude. Sitting here in this shithole of New Jersey. Oh, yeah, bro. Now, working at the shop. You know,
How is Jersey now?
it's the same shit, different day. Business is good. I can't complain about that, but it's the same. You know,
You got more people now, or I know I've seen you up your prices and stuff.
I'll be honest. Of all, I've told you plenty of times, I don't even like upping my prices. I love people that I'm with, but I'm telling you, this is a different area out here. I don't know what it's like in Vegas. Is it more expensive in Vegas to live than Jersey, or?
Well, no, Jersey's expensive as shit. I mean, the house like that I had in Florida is like it's pretty relevant to where I live now, in Vegas. It's got the same amount of bedrooms, same amount of bathroom. I think it's actually got one more bedroom here, and I'm paying about $1,000 less.
Wow.
Tampa was expensive, bro.
Shit. Well, you remember B, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was down there and he was telling me just to rent a fuck buying. The rent's fucking nuts.
In Florida. Yeah, bro. It wasn't cheap.
I know, dude, it's kind of nuts, man. But it's funny because like I'm still a fucking Jew in my own head. You know what I mean? I'm doing good, but I'm like, I still look at things like, yo, hold up. I don't want to spend this much money to do this. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's funny, like I'm Jewish, like in that sense. But like if I want to get something, that's a lot, I'm gonna go do it. And you're the same fucking way.
Yo, so remember you asked me about Vic's episode?
Yeah.
So I was talking to her and I'm like, yo, I'm talking to Nick soon. And I'm like, I really wanted to ask him, and this is like something a lot of people have been asking me. What's your experience like in Vegas? Like how I know your lifestyle. It doesn't differ from what you usually do. Like you're strict red.
Oh, if anything, living in Vegas, in my opinion, is probably like the mecca of bodybuilding, I guess you could call it, in terms of atmosphere.
Okay.
Everyone here lives, whether you compete or not, everyone here lives a pretty, I'd say, healthy lifestyle to a degree. Everyone's going to the gym. Everyone takes it, generally serious. But in terms of outside of that, I think it's like anywhere else, to be honest. Like you're gonna have drama anywhere you go. You're gonna have the wrong people. You're gonna have the state. Like I used to have people, tell me when I moved to, when I was moving to Vegas, like, I left Vegas, too many rats, snakes. And then when I moved to Vegas, I would have people tell me, I moved here from Florida, so many rats and snakes. Same shit, right? So I think it's just where you're happy at, right? And I think when certain people move to a new location, right off the bat, they just might get involved with the wrong people in the area. So now the whole entire place gives them bad vibes. And it's like, no, you just fucked with the wrong people. It's like that Jersey, right? It's like that anywhere.
Yeah.
But I do think for me in Vegas, particularly, I think it kind of enhances my lifestyle a little bit.
Okay. You've always, all right, I'm taking this back, dude. I'm taking this back.
Bro, take it all the way back.
I'm going to take this back. I'm going to paint this picture for you because I know. Smile. All right, ready? Blackwood Clemenson Road. Get up to the light at the McDonald's. make the left, hard right into the parking lot, go all the way straight, hit the far right, drop past the Kmart, park up at Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness was the start.
I had only known about you through, I don't know, a couple people were like, yo, you see this motherfucker? And I'm like, no. You know, I was
what, like 15 at the time when we first met, pretty much, right? Yeah.
Dude, that's what's wild now. Like
now I'm 28.
Man, I'm 33. Fuck. No, we're looking all right. I'm not mad at that.
No, I'm good, bro.
I think what was crazy though, because I told a couple guys in the shop, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna talk to Nick tonight. And they're like, what are you gonna ask him? I'm like, I know it's kind of weird, like our conversations have always been so deep and personal. I'm like, what about Nick? Like, is something that I can't forget. And that day, it was kind of funny, man. You next to Jake, you know, over to the left side, you know, where the mirrors were just a little nicer. You caught a little bit extra that you want to hit. But I remember I was looking, I thought you were fucking like 22. And then you were the guy that everybody was talking about. I'm like, yo, I met him. He's 15. I was like, what? Like his mother, him to the gym. Dude, can you come back to that spot in your head?
It's funny because even like when my mom and a lot of people, you know, they asked me to this day, they're like, you ever just like sit back and take in where your life has gone, what you've done? And, you know, the answer, when I answered it, I'm like, no, not really, you know, because getting on this trajectory, I just want to keep moving forward. I never really take in like, wow, look what I built for myself. You know, I live in Vegas, you know, I have a nice house. I have this, I have that, you know, I won an Arnold Classic. I won a New York Pro. I got third at my set. You know, they sound awesome and they are. But I think for me, I don't, and I have plenty of time, right? But I don't ever just take that time to just let it sink in. I think more of
what's next,
what comes next. And then because I believe on how quick I was able to accomplish these things, because let's rewind a little bit. It took me 10 years to become a pro, right? But when I became a pro, it was like boom, 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 boom. And I think I have like in the back of my head, I guess I stress about it. As quick as I got it, I feel that's as quick as you can lose it. So that sits in the back of my head, and it's like that's probably why I never just sit back and like, yeah, like, oh shit. And I'm like, I never just sit back and think like, yeah, you know, I'm living a good life. I rather focus on, which isn't good, I'd rather focus on what I can do better and then stress about shit that I don't need to stress about instead of actually living in the moment, so to speak.
Okay. So, what do we got there?
Oh no, I'm sorry, steak and potato.
Nah, it doesn't happen often, but I mean, I've always told you my schedule. Wake up early, get in the shop, cut times. I might not eat, not the best, you know, for myself, but just the driving mentality towards it. There's something that you helped me with years ago, and I remember through all of our talks and shit, there were times where you'd ask me something, and I'm like, yo, fuck, man, like, I don't know. But I had to kind of get to some type of educated, like, understanding and kind of move forward with a problem I didn't even know had just been created. You know, I remember when your mindset was actually getting to a point where you were showing me new things. That was kind of a pinnacle. I thank you for that, by the way. You know, even as like being older and having a different,
I think, years ago, I think me and you probably helped each other more than we think.
Yeah. I think that's something. I don't know if you've ever talked about this with people, but that's how I know, as the world had seen your work, I knew,
Yeah.
I knew the person, and I was just like, the work was starting to get me into a place of motivation. And I'm like, hold on, nah, he's here, and this is how he gets there. Like, it's a regimen. And I go back to the whole, like, remember Planet Fitness, because I do have those moments from time to time. I always like moving forward. Like, there's never, before we did all this, I was texting you a little bit, telling you about how things were going down. And it's like, this first time in my life where, like, I'm really good, but there are things around me that matter so much that it almost took me back. Like, hold on, where was I when all these things started changing? And it's just like, holy shit. I get those moments from time to time, like odd clarity. When my motivation is down, like, I definitely have to remind myself in that way. But yeah, aside from, like, maybe reminding myself in a bad spot, yeah, absolutely, it's a move forward mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I would have never fucking thought I was going to start a podcast. Everybody's chirping at me. They're like, "Yo, you're going to do this or not?" And I'm like, "Nah." Like, this is
Fun though, right?
it's stupid fun. I really like it, but I know you're going to feel me when I say this. Like, the things we have been able to speak about in person, some of that shit, like, sometimes it's a little bit of an act. Like, that's something I would never put on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's the real value, like the real love of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you've got
I just tried to talk with I forget. Like when it comes to social media, right? Like I put a lot of my life out there.
yeah,
'Cause that's what people want to see. That's what they don't want to know anymore what Nick does in the gym. It's what is Nick doing on a daily basis? Who is Nick, right? But then when certain things may happen where a conflict occurs and now it gets kind of all over the internet, now everyone feels entitled to know what happened. And then it's like, what? I don't owe you anything.
I've never, I've never had, maybe amongst the streets, like, there's always been the community.
Oh, dude, when you listen, and I'm not famous by any means, but when you become like I hate to say it, but like an influencer, so to speak, whatever, and everyone that follows you on the Instagram, they want to know everything about you, which is great. I love it. I love sharing as much as I can. But there's always certain things in life that just should remain private. Your personal life, there's certain things you don't talk about. Family, mom, dad, girlfriend, whatever it is. I feel like there's certain things you can show when other things that's when something occurs a lot of times within this industry, and because of how much, someone puts out there, if they don't want to speak on a subject because they want to keep it private, everyone gets mad now. And they're like, oh, well, why won't you speak up? Why won't you say what happened? And it's like, first of all, I don't know you. We never met. What explanation do I fucking owe you?
Do you feel like it's expected now to some degree?
I do. I feel anything that happens, it's like it's like it has to go on social media. Like it needs to be said.
There's where I fail on social media that I can't.
And listen, it's like a good and bad thing because it's, it helps build your brand. It helps build your character a little bit. But again, it's almost like there's no privacy in it. You can't have that anymore because if everything you've done, as soon as you hold back a little bit on something that you kind of just want to keep for yourself, it's like, oh, why won't he tell us what's going on? And it's like, look, man, some things in life remain private. Like my private life is going to be private,
I guess it's something I've had people in my business. I mean, I can only account for people that have been in and out of the barbershops for years. I mean, I've ran into thousands of people, and some stuff crossed in between, and drama came from here and there, and everybody wants to know. But honestly, I feel like that's why things just aren't going anywhere for a lot of people, unfortunately. Like, I like keeping to myself. I like having some fun. Like, dude, this whole thing, like cutting up and chopping up reels, like all the dumb shit we say. It's like, oh, I want, like, I want to look back at this, like, show my kid, like, yo, this is who I was, like, because I plan on being a completely different person, you know, in another 5 years, in another 5 days, another five hours. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that growth to it, you know.
We change as people, I think, almost every day.
You think of the disadvantage, though. I'm struggling a little bit now to where there's like a plateau of where I see people wanting to be. And it's like, I have no problem with that. I think people live as they want to live, but other people's goals shouldn't be impugned in that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, someone else's goals shouldn't really be the deciding factor of someone else's like intuitions. Do you know what I'm saying? To some degree.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of what could happen rather than rather than actually sometimes thinking about the situation of what is happening. And I think that holds people back. It's like, I look at it as, someone being in a bad situation, right? But they're afraid to get out. They're afraid to move, whatever, because they don't know what's going to happen next. So they rather just stay comfortable in the little life not move forward and just kind of, like I said, be comfortable, but not happy. And I expressed this, I just did a podcast with, guys,
yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah. So we did a podcast yesterday, and especially in this industry, life can be so fucking short, man. Like, ridiculous. And I always just express, look, you can't predict the future. Past is the past. Present is present. And if you're not happy with your life, no matter what it is, you need to find a way to make a change and move forward. Because again, you have one life. That's it. You might get a second chance, like you might get struck by lightning or something, I don't know, and live,
I got that second chance. Remember from that whole bullshit that happened at Xfinity?
Yes, you did. But a lot of people don't get that, right? So it's usually just, you got one life. And if you're not happy, you need to take steps to be happy. And regardless, listen up. It's okay to be a little selfish. It's for you, especially for your own happiness. And I've learned, even throughout the years, getting to this point, putting myself first, people are going to get hurt. You're going to hurt people. But you have to know that the intentions of what you're doing is not malicious. This is what's best for me. This is what I think is best for my life. And I'm going to move forward with my happiness. You can be apologetic as you want, because deep down, you're not really trying to hurt no one. It's not the goal here. No. But someone always ends up getting the short end of the stick. But again, you have one life. And if you feel deep down, whatever change you're making that's what's going to make you happy, you just got to be willing to take that risk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's taking the words out of the shop, man. That's awesome. It keeps it like the way we used to flow it. And I'm so happy that like, this is like where you're at now. Like, you still have that. I've seen too many people kind of like fail off from it. And I'm sure you've probably seen it. I've seen a lot of like really, really big highs, and it's like, they're riding super high. It's like, yo, it's tough to maintain it. You might come down a little bit.
You're going to.
gotta
You
come
know,
back. Look,
it was like, what was it? After my first Olympia, right? That year was a high. I was a high, bro. Like I won New York. I won the Arnold. I got fifth of that. And I was just talking shit that whole year. I'm beating everybody. And that's what got me the I'd say the respect to a degree. Cause I'd say, I'm gonna win this shit. And I let everybody know. And then I did it. And then people were like, oh shit. What the fuck? You know what I mean? But then after the Olympia, I felt like I was going to lose a little bit of relevancy. And the high was starting to come down. And I'm like, and that was
when you say the relevancy, what do you mean?
listen, everyone follows everybody in prep. So as you get into an off season, no one really gives a shit.
Okay, I can see that.
Everyone wants to follow the journey. Not all season, it is what it is. So for me, that was like, okay, I got to do the Arnold again, which I didn't do it that year. But that was when I was in like my darkest place, because that was when, me and Ron Revive split, me and Matt split, that whole fucked up shit. So now I'm like, I'm going to lose relevancy. I got all this fucking drama. People are judging me because of all that. That's what I mean by there's no privacy, right? Like, it's no one's business why me and Matt split. Who the fuck? That's, you know what I mean? And so now I'm like, wow. Now I look like the asshole. I look like the bad guy. I went from fucking being the man to now I'm like fucking a shithead. So I didn't even know what to do. I was stressed beyond belief. I felt like shit every day. I didn't know how to handle it. I really didn't. So, and I was like 12 weeks out, from the Olympia that just passed. I just said, fuck it, and I texted Matt, sent him a voice record. We had a long talk. And that was like when the hurricane that was happening, that came to Tampa. And he wanted me to come down that weekend to like talk to him in person and stuff. And I'm like, look, man, there's a hurricane coming. I'm not sure I'll be able to get back home if this hurricane hits the way it's supposed to. So he's like, it's cool, man. I got a spare house. Walk up there. So I ended up losing power for a good 4 or 5 days. So I ended up being at his house for almost a week. And then that was when like me and Hostile split and all that drama. But I felt better when me and him got back together, and everything started to glide and everything started to move, and then
you guys work really well together.
We do, we have our differences, obviously, just like anyone else. But when it comes to prep time, we hit it. We never miss, and even before, all the drama, he was, someone I look up to, so the connection is what made it. The relationship is what made everything work. You know what I mean? The trust, all that. And then that was then 8 weeks out, Flex Lewis invited me to come onto his podcast. And then I never went home. I had Maria come with me, and we never went home.
Wow. That's how that, wow. That's
and I wasn't even going to go to Vegas to be on the podcast, because I'm like, I'm 8 weeks out. Anyone who knows me knows I don't travel. Like, fuck off. So then I was calling my mom, I'm like, I know it's supposed to do it. Like, should I go? Like, I'm not, it's my Olympia time, And she's like, shut the fuck up and go, dude. He's like, he's inviting you, just go. I'm like, okay. So then, we ended up staying for a few days, and I just felt like I was getting in a groove that I didn't get in, like all prep really. And I'm like, let's just stay until the Olympia. since the Olympia was there. So, we agreed. We got an Airbnb for like, the rest of prep mainly. Then I'm like, weeks going by, like, kind of want to move. So then, I made the decision. We made the decision. Fucking 3-4 days later, we got a house.
Dude,
Just,
that's the change. And a lot of the people are going to see this, like all my people, like it's another validation. Sometimes I try to tell them about change. It's like, you kind of just got to just move with certain things. When they're right, they're right.
It was, yeah. What's crazy is like, your people think, oh, 8 weeks out for Olympia, like you're moving, like, that's crazy. And it's kind of moving in general, I think is just like a scary thing. Like whether it's, no matter, it's just scary. You got to pack up your life and like, it's a new beginning. I don't know if it was just because I was in prep and, all the other bullshit, you know what I mean? But I didn't feel that way. Like I was like ready, I felt good about the decision. It was probably one of my decisions that I've made that I felt truly confident in.
I should do it.
Like when I moved to Tampa, that was very kind of out of emotion, and I probably shouldn't have done it. But when I moved here, I was like, I'm confident in this. Like, this is a good move. And it has been.
So that I've had moments like this in my life where it was my choice. Like, did you feel like at that moment, like that was one of them times where it was like, all right, look, I'm going to go here, here. It's like, nah, this is where I'm going. Like, there was no question. Like, it was just, did you feel like that?
Yeah, because I'm a firm believer. My mom, like, is a very realistic individual. You know how my mom is. So, when I told her about this, she was like, you might be living on a high. Like, don't make any hasty decisions just yet. And I get where she was coming. Kind of made me mad because I was like excited, and she kind of bummed it out a little bit. But I'm like, I get where she was coming from, right? And she's a mom. And I'm like, I really feel like this is a good move. Like, I feel good here. Like, I didn't feel good in Tampa. Like I made good friends there, but like just the environment, like it didn't hit me right. Like, there was something I couldn't do it. But being here, environment wise, gym wise, people wise, like I'm good. And now the highs were off, right? I'm eating for a little while. I'm chilling. It hasn't really, like, I'm good. I don't feel any different. I don't regret moving.
Were you like disarrayed in your head, like down in Tampa? Like, was it just not a peaceful place? I've been in nice places where it wasn't peaceful.
Yeah, I don't think it was that peaceful. And I hated the weather. It was too humid.
Oh, okay. So I'm like a Florida guy for like a vacation. Not the physical.
I would have gone there if, I wouldn't mind going there for like a week or so, enjoyed it. I think, but actually living there now, I'm just the humidity. It's not my cup of tea.
Okay. How's Vegas?
No, like the weather it gets pretty hot, but there's no humidity. So I love it. But it also gets really fucking cold here, which I love, but there's no snow. So I get the best of both worlds for me because I love summer, but I also love the cold where I can wear hoodies, sweats, and do my thing. And it doesn't snow here. I mean, we I think the whole time we've been here, it like trickled a little bit of snow, like a little flurry, nothing, nothing to go crazy about. But like, it doesn't snow, So I'm like, this is fucking awesome. So I think weather-wise, it's great. Whether you like the cold, if you like the heat, there's no humidity. Like I said, the dry heat, I mean, it gets hot. Everyone, get in the car, you go burn yourself on the seatbelt a little bit.
Yeah, what are you driving right now? I always see you behind him. Something crazy.
So obviously, I have the BMW X6.
How's that?
I had the Corvette. But I've been wanting to trade that in. I wanted a Challenger, but I was unsure, you know. And I'm like, the Challenger. I mean, the Corvette just consistently grow. I don't really drive it, and obviously, when I was driving it consistently for a while in Florida, like I hurt my knee, so trying to get in and out of that motherfucker. So I'm like, I'm too big for like. It's just not. So funny enough, it's gonna sound probably gay, but I went to go see Fast 10, and I'm like,
right.
I want to get a Challenger. Fuck this. So it was like, I don't know, 2 days after the fact, I get done training. Me and Marie get done training. We sit on the couch, and I'm like, I really want to trade the Corvette. She's like, well, yeah, you know, he told me. And she's like, you want to go this weekend? And I'm like, I don't want to go now.
Oh, you mean like right now?
Yeah. So the place that we went to, they're close to like 8 or 9 or something, and it was like 5. So like, I'm gonna eat real fast, and we're gonna leave. So we leave. We get to the place. I said, "Yo, do you got any Hellcats Challengers?" So she's like, "Yeah, actually, we have one. That's a red eye."
Oh, oh my fucking God.
So I said, "Okay." I said, "I let it's blue. It's beautiful." I said, "Okay, let me see it, bro." You could hear that shit like a mile away pulling out.
Oh,
and I'm like, and I wanted to get a shot like something a little bit cheaper than the Corvette, but still badass.
yeah.
That didn't work out, obviously. The red eyes aren't cheap at all. But he took it for a spin, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's just, and it was comfortable. It's big, you know. So I was like, okay, that's the one. So I traded in the Corvette, and I brought home a Challenger that night.
Oh my God, dude. Yo, I loved my Charger, dude. It's because
They're badass cars, bro. They really are.
Yeah, and the comfort's there. 100%.
It is. I sit. I don't like feel weird or uncomfortable, and it's just I feel like it fits me. You know, like you got a muscle car. You with a muscle. The Corvette was cool, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I feel it.
Like sporty.
It is. And you know, the fact that every time I drive it, I end up getting a bum knee. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm calling it quits. But the Corvette was badass to drive.
Oh, they're fast. I took my buddies for a spin for a little bit, and I was like, oof, that was fun.
Yeah.
Good.
The red eye has a little over 800 horsepower.
That's some scary horsepower, dude. Dude, I only had 420 on the Charger, and that thing was still sliding out at 60. I'm like,
yeah. I haven't really tested limits because it's like whenever there's a straight road, there like comes a turn, and I get nervous and I hit the brakes and slow down.
It's a good idea.
I know, like I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not trying to die.
Yeah,
I'm not NASCAR over here.
Yeah,
but no, it's badass. I love it. I literally, yeah. So I got that like a month ago, maybe.
That's awesome, man. You didn't like the Charger?
I like Chargers, but I do like Challengers better.
Okay, I have a 50-50 in the shop. They're like, I like Challenger. I like Charger. I'm like, I don't know. I love the 4 doors. I love the.
Yeah, I like 2-door.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Yo, you saw what I just picked up, right?
I did. That's badass.
Yeah. First time in my life I've ever done this, man. That's an 86 Monte Carlo that has 47,000 miles on it.
No way.
Dude, found it in Chicago.
That's beautiful.
I know, dude. If you were here, here's what I got to tell you. The fucking seats. Now, I'll put this, I had the Benz, right?
Yeah.
More comfortable than the Benz. It's the original seats.
No shit, yeah.
Dude, it smells like my grandfather's living room. Swear to God, dude, you open the door, the big clanky door, and it's just like, you look at it, everything's pristine from 86.
That's awesome.
Dashboard needs a little work.
That's okay.
A little bit. You know what I mean?
Are you going to drive it or are you going to like just tune that shit up and save it.
Oh, I'm driving that thing. Yo, I forget who asked me. He was like, he asked me to save these. Like, what you gonna do with it? I'm like, I'm gonna drive it. He's like, why? I'm like, why not?
I mean, I get it. Why not?
Been looking for this car for like 5 or 6 years. They were either rusted out, fucking 200,000 miles, beat the shit. Like, it just, none of them were good and had no good paint. Like, I kind of gave up a search, right? Here's some bullshit that you gotta tell me if it's ever happened to you. Talking with Mary, right? And she's like, "Yeah, why'd you stop looking for that car?" I'm like, "Why?" And she was like, "Oh no, I'm asking." I'm like, "I don't know. I might look for a Monte Carlo sooner." 48 hours later, on the phone, AutoZone, all this shit for fucking Monte Carlos for sale. And I'm like, no. This hasn't popped up for fucking 3-4 fucking years, dude. And then next, it's a line of all. And I'm like,
it's funny the way the world works.
Yeah. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. You ever give up search for something, you gotta just want to pick it up?
And then out of nowhere, there's like a million of them. Yeah.
I know. And you know what else? Yeah, dude, I was like, this is my first toy. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck with this thing.
You still have the Charger, right?
No, I got rid of the Charger. So here's my thing. And this is why it's either you go Hellcat or not. I already learned this. So I started with I took this, what the fuck is the 6.2? You know what I mean? The 3.2. Took that for a spin, and I was like, okay. And then I took the 5.7 for a spin. And like, they're kind of like, they're such big cars that like that extra 100 horsepower, like unless you're racing somebody, like specifically racing, there's not much of a feel once you get used to the car. So unless you got the Hellcat power to where you're fucking acting that motherfucker, you know what I mean? To me, the car just wasn't worth it. So I gave that up, and then I went with the Benz. Got a little E3, the E300, little 4-cylinder turbo. Crushes it on gas. It's dope. Got a little white leather with the lights on the inside. It's real nice. But here's what pissed me off. I found an old Charger, right on fucking Cross Keys Road, right by the Chick-fil-A, right? And I see it pull up, and I'm like, that's my car. Like, let me just see what this little like Benz can do, right? Now the Benz got all-wheel drive too. That Charger, like, you dig it. It's like it just spun.
Yeah.
You gotta try to like grip the shit out of it. Like, he runs with me, dude. This Benz took off. I'm like, it just didn't sound as exciting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was no like, oh, like it didn't get your fucking blood rolling. It was just, I'm like, all right, I'm with him, but it wasn't fun. But it was
the red eye. It's so loud.
Yeah. Is it too?
So, as soon as you hit that gas, it's like, I love it. Yeah, right.
No, dude, I test drove the regular Hellcat, and I wasn't in a spot to like get it at the time, and I thought about it, but I took it for the first test run, right? Got around the first corner. I was over by like Apollo.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care. It was a Challenger. I wasn't feeling it, but there wasn't a lot of people with the Hellcat yet. Like, I hate getting something when like everybody's got it. It's like, nah, we were playing with this for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be pissed if I start seeing Monte Carlos pop up everywhere. You know what I mean?
Pretty soon you're gonna see everyone have one on the block.
Yeah. But dude, I took this fucking Hellcat out, dude. I couldn't grip it. I don't know if it was just not fresh tires or what it was.
I didn't have fresh tires.
Yeah, this thing wouldn't. I mean, it moved. Like, you drive it regularly. Like, the 3.9 drives the same way as the 5.7. It's like, as soon as you hit that fucking little launch mode, yeah. But like, I couldn't, man. That thing just would have got me in so much fucking trouble.
I'm trying to behave.
Dude, I'm a Jew, bro. I was talking to the chick. I was like, these are the big Brembos. She was like, yeah. She was like, just know that it's like 6 racks to fix these. And I'm like, what you mean fix them? She was like, well, it's a heavy car. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's the only doubtful.
That's it though. The brakes, like, cause the 5.7 even fucked me up, dude. Like, I was putting even the slotted ceramic rotors on them things, just trying to get everything I could out of it. I'm like, These motherfuckers are heavy. You know what I mean? But
They're heavy cars, bro.
no, I feel still. I feel safe in it though. As dumb as that sounds, like it's a dangerous car,
No,
but
I didn't feel safe. I felt like one false hit. I'm fucked.
yeah, it wasn't because like it's physically like wider than the seat. Like I've sat in them and it's like it's snug. It's like a little spaceship. You're
It is.
kind
That's
of
what you feel like. You're in like a little spaceship. But it because of how small it is, you know, the Corvette. I just felt like anyone that just came at me at a certain speed, it lights out.
yeah,
Challenger, I don't feel that way 'cause it's bigger. I mean, it's probably just in the mind, right? Because it's bigger, more comfortable. But either way, you're gonna get fucked.
I mean, I never really liked sports cars though. I liked them. I think they're fucking dope as fuck. Like I wouldn't mind riding.
Yeah. Now that I've had one, a driven one, listen, I think they're badass. But I probably wouldn't get one again.
No, no. I like.
Like I had a Challenger already. When I first moved to Florida, that was like the first car I got.
Was it a blue?
It was a blue Challenger.
I remember that.
And now I have another blue Challenger.
Yo, what's the interior look like? Is it the all?
Black and blue, baby.
Oh, you just,
I'll have to take a picture of it as that it's and the interior is dope.
yeah. Yo, you know what? I don't know what it is about those cars, man. Like they're very homey. Like you get in it, it feels like you're kind of like in a little like entertainment system.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
we're big.
You know, and I don't know if I know you're short like me. You know, what I mean, I'm more shorter than you, but
Oh, you're a little shorter.
yeah. But yo, that charger seat, man, that electronic system, it got me all the way up there. I was like, I think that's what got me. And I was like, nah, this thing that's perfect. It don't matter how fucking big you are. I'm like, all right.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Yo, how's your mom, dude? How's the family? They good?
He's good. Yeah, they're great. You know, pretty good. I've seen them probably around the Olympia time when they came out, and they're good, living life. You know, I'm at the house now. Louis out the house, so you know they're kind of just doing their thing. You know?
Dude, that's awesome, man. They get some time, man. That's cool.
Yeah, Louis doing well. You know, he's him and Sam living in Florida, living it up. So he works for Revive now. So
No way.
yeah, he does like all the marketing stuff. So
I saw that, man. He's doing good, man. That's
yeah, he's happy. They're both happy, both living life. So everyone's doing pretty well for the most part, I say.
yeah. Yeah, I gotta ask you though. You're feeling good right now, aren't you? Like this is your time, man.
Yeah, I feel, you know, with last off season not being like crazy productive, you know, even though this off season was relatively short because I did the Arnold, right? And I'm already back in prep, but I felt like for the time that I had, it was 2 times as more productive as last year. You know, anything they want me to bring up, I think I now fairly brought up. And I'm doing like a new training style, which was a mind fuck for me, but I think it's making the world difference. I do like I don't know if you like follow my Instagram too much, but it's like RP strength. So it's kind of like a push pull to a degree, push pull legs. But the training is like different. You know, like I'm used to pushing some fucking weight, and it's like that's not the case here at all. You know, like for example, people would probably laugh compared to what I used to do. Like yesterday for like a flat dumbbell press, I only went as high as 80s. And it sounds funny, but it's the key to what this style is. It's full range of motion. And it's, you know, I was already doing the slow negative shit, right? So like that was already accomplished. But doing full range, and I don't mean full range as, you know, up. I'm talking down, like you're getting this motherfucker all the way under there. That's a game changer, man. Like,
Fraction.
uh, yeah, and you emphasize the stretch more, where everyone knows, the most. What the most part that's happening in the muscle is the negative, the eccentric rep. But also, where the muscle gets the most out of it is in the stretch position. So when you're going all the way to the stretch position and pause it for a hot second and explode it, it's you can't go heavy, like it's nearly impossible.
That's what just got me a hernia on Sunday. Yo, I felt God too. I felt
Yeah, no, listen, and I'm not here to advocate like lift. Well, like I love lifting heavy. There's a time and a place to just grip and rip some shit and have fun. But for what I was trying to accomplish, I wanted to learn something different to see what it could do, if it was going to work or not. You never know, right? And I like to learn and try new things. And bro, I'm like 294. And, I think this is the leanest I've been and the biggest. I think my chest has come up tremendously.
Dude, I'm literally looking at it 3D on this fucking screen right now. You can see the A actually seeping inside the shirt.
I mean, and everyone knows, when I used to train, I could do 200-pound incline dumbbell press for reps, but I had a shitty chest. So to some degree, it's like, okay, what you're doing obviously isn't fucking like working. We all know you're strong as shit, but maybe there's a different way. And I did, and let me tell you something, like, and the point of this training too, to a certain degree, is you're not taking any sets to failure. You're not going to failure on anything. It accumulates volume in the sense of sets over time. So like the way they like to set it up is like first week, you ease into it. The second week is a little harder in terms of sets, whatever intensity, yada. And then by like week 5, you're like balls to the wall, all out, killing it that week, dying, throwing up, whatever. And then you go into a deload week, work, take time off, wherever you prefer. And then you restart the process all over again.
Where would you say the volume's at for that then? If you're taking away the strength and you're literally just going straight to volume.
Well, it's funny. Well, I'll tell you, obviously this is very fatiguing, even, if I'm doing one set or two, just because I'm not used to, this is very fatiguing. So I've been doing this since the Arnold, and I maybe will go to 3 sets sometimes on some shit. I stay at 2.
Really? Wow. So
and I felt like that's really all I've needed, and that's the thing, because it's a push pull. So you accumulate volume over time, but it's frequency as well. It's the volume over time with the frequency. So you don't want to fucking nail your shit that first session when you're about to hit it again in 3 to 4 days. Yeah. So you kind of have to play with yourself and know when you can recover from, how hard you can put. And it's been little. I've had some difficulty because I've been fatigued on a lot of days, but it works. Like if you do it properly, it works.
do you remember? I'm going to take it back again.
Take it back.
Extreme.
I love Extreme. I miss that place so much.
I remember I was with Junta and we were doing our shit, and I went up to the pull-up bar and jumped up, kind of did a couple, and you were like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I was like, "Hold up, what am I doing?" I remember you told me to just hang on the bar and just sit in myself for a second, and I was like, "Oh," and I remember I ordered, fucking back just started popping, and you were like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay," and I remember actually not knowing actually how to open my back. I always was stuck like in the bicep area. You know what I mean? Just always pulling with the
stretch.
dude, my back grew in the next year. And that, dude, that's when my back got wide. Like it almost makes like my body a little like little off portion, like to the term, but like that motion alone from actually opening up, as opposed to just constantly keeping it in my arms. Like even when I tried the bench, actually bringing it down and not just keeping it, just tricep push. Like I see some guys that their arms are fucking massive. I'm like, where's the compliment? You know what I mean? Like it's either all arms or like all chest and back.
And no arm.
And honestly, dude, I feel like I'm losing my arms, but my fucking chest and my back are fucking wide. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm losing my own psychology here.
Well, but that's the thing. And then the cool thing about it is people, I've already got comments like, oh, you don't train as intense anymore. It's like, listen, what's intense to you? When I used to fucking grunt and scream during my sets, I said that was fun and all. I said, but it's the intensity within the rep that you're performing that matters. The grunting, that's cool shit. I mean, that's me. That's what I love. But to be able to really dial it on every rep and execute every rep will take you so much farther than someone that's which is what I used to do. And when you go, like, we'll just take pull-ups. Say you hang at the bottom for like 1 second and pull up. You're gonna feel your lat more than if you kind of just stopped here and then pulled up. If you really just go as far as you can and open it and then do it, yeah, you might not be able to do the same amount that you used to, but I guarantee you have a bigger pump.
Oh my God, yeah.
And at the end of the day, and I'll argue with this back and forth to people. They're like, pump isn't end all be all. And in my opinion, if you don't have a pump, you fucked up something.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Because with the way I've been doing this training, I feel pumped 24/7. 24/7. Because you're not, it's what, like, who was it? I forget his name. When he used to preach back in the day, you stimulate, you don't annihilate. And since I've been doing it, it's I mean, it works. I can't really like say much else besides it. Like it just works.
Dude, I'm ready to start conditioning from this because this looks like it's really going to take like the next step to your shape. Like I'm excited to see this.
And I think my weight has stayed very tight this off season, which is awesome. It started to be at 294. I mean, my peak off season last year was 305, and I was pretty soft, and I don't want to get there again, but God forbid. But being 294 right now, like it's, when I compare pictures, it's not, it's just, you can't.
Dude, every year you've been doing that, man. It's super. Yo, I got to ask you something. Do you have like, I have this for myself, like just like every year I take a picture of like one of my haircuts that was the same type of cut from like the year before. And I always just like, it's like, holy shit.
Your haircut with me in particular, and this isn't a bad thing, but I've noticed that whenever like you used to cut my hair, they were never the same. Like it'd be the same haircut, but like sometimes it'll be like really sharper. You would give me like the real sharp edge type deal. You trim up the beard real nicely. Sometimes, and sometimes you'll use like the shaver machine, whatever it's called. Some weeks you didn't, but the haircut, it's not like it took away anything. It's just you always take something different every week.
Yo, you know what I like? A haircut's a haircut, but I've always been trying every new thing, and like I like to see if people like it or not. I've actually been getting a lot of good, like the communication level with all my clients now is really A1. They're like, yo, same thing, but then do this like you did, and I can like start to remember.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Let me ask you something real quick. So I'm noticing something that I guess I didn't know was a problem for you. The whole like privacy thing. So let me see if I can try to figure out how to word this, because You had me thinking about that this whole time. Like it seems like it really is a fucking problem. And thinking about it like from the shop's perspective, I've had to like deal with this. Have you been able to communicate to people? Because I know it's very difficult to actually try to explain to a million people, like, one, this isn't your business.
No, you know why I don't? I'll tell you why I don't. Like you may communicate in terms of, well, like telling people like, this is privacy, fuck off type thing.
To some degree, yeah.
Well, in a nicer way, obviously. But no, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like no matter what, even if I tried to do it, I will sound like an asshole no matter what.
Happens.
It's sometimes, even though I think this is a bad trait that I have, because I feel like I should speak up sometimes a little more. I'd rather avoid it than have some type of conflict.
I agree. The conflict isn't worth it at that point. I feel
it to some degree, no, right? Because it's like, yeah, I have, we'll say out of like 100 comments, so 20 people say, oh, what will happen? You deserve to give us an explanation. But then you have, the other 60, 70% that understand. So it's like, are those people that, don't overrule anything? Are they worth writing a post for, saying, hey, mind your business and all you shit? If that's where you got to play, what's the majority at this point,
Yeah, it's really odd to have criticism from people who have absolutely no clue.
Well, it used to bother me when I was younger, like when I first kind of started to get hot on the scene, and people were like, oh, you're going to die at 27. You're this, you're that. You'll never be a good pro. You'll never do this. Go fuck. It bothered me. It did. It used to, because I'm like, what the fuck are these people? Like, why? I don't know. You talk shit. And now I'm like, you don't pay my bills. I don't know who the fuck you are. You have no relevancy in my life. And anything they say now, I'm like, I've heard this all before, champ. Like, so I kind of just laugh at this point, because I still get that shit. Like, oh, you're going to die soon. Like, why? Because I'm big. I'm going to die. That means that means I'm going to die soon. I'm bigger than the average human. I'm going to die now. That's nice. Thanks.
But do you lift is the question.
I like to lift twice a month or so. I like to just get a pump and leave. It works.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I feel like, there's such like an education to bodybuilding, but like the gym culture itself. I mean, you grew up.
It's so much more, because I think we all to a degree know, like, not bodybuilding, right? But I think just training in general can help people with life, right? Can toughen people up, help people mentally, help people, get on the right track of things, whatever the case is, right? But competing, it's a different ball game, my friend. And then when you enter, that type of league, you're in this industry now, and I still to this day, have weak moments, but you have to be so not physically strong. Fuck that. You got to be mentally strong, because mentally, if it ain't there, scratch everything else. Scratch everything else. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You can be physically as strong as you want, but if this is all cuckooed up, just stop. It's not gonna work. And I think I struggled with that a little bit. I still do, to be honest. Not as bad, but I still do. When I think it, like I said, I think because of how fast things happen. And I don't think I was used to it, as, like all the, I don't want to say fame, because I'm a bodybuilder, but like all the attention, we'll say, the attention, it felt good.
Yes.
Now you want to keep going. Now you feel like you have a purpose, right? And then I feel like when that dies down, even though it's all in your head, you think you're losing that purpose. When the reality, you're not. You're chilling now. You're relaxing. You've accomplished goals. You're chilling to the next one. Your purpose is not just degraded at all. If anything, your purpose is now higher. So, and that's things I had to like. I'm still grasping and learning. And it goes beyond bodybuilding at this point, right? Because it's like bodybuilding ain't forever. So you have to do the business of bodybuilding now. And me, I've said this on many podcasts, and I'm sure you just know, I'm sure we talk. I hate traveling. Traveling is like, like I get to fuck off. I don't like to be out of my element. I don't like to not be in control. And that was this year something I've had to fuck the fuck up, because when I got sponsored by HD, I needed a passport. So, because I had to go to Canada. They're in Canada. I've been to Canada so many fucking times already. I'm sick of the place. And I've traveled so much. Like it was a lot. But, I'm still struggling because that's why I cut off any travel now since I started prep. Because I traveled so much. I'm like, I'm taking these next 20 weeks as they're mine. Leave me the fuck alone. But you're able to stay on point. Like even when my last trip, I did the Canada tour, which was cool. It was awesome. We was on the private plane and shit. Was horrible. It's too small. But I was able to still get all my meals in. I didn't train, which was fine because it was a nice little chill before, prep, obviously. But I was still able to get my meals in. I still did cardio in the morning. And everything ran smooth. And I think, me, I don't know where it happened, but I feel like over the years, I've developed a shit ton of fucking anxiety. And I think of everything that could go wrong. So then I'm like, I get my hands, I get like puffy and I get like all this anxiety, feel like, oh I can't do this. I can't go. I don't want to do it. And I freak out. I freak out. I lose my shit sometimes. And I have to learn like, hey, calm down. Nothing has happened yet. You didn't even leave. Like, why are you, so the trip went well, which was awesome. But then I got really fucking nervous. And I started to lose my mind a little bit because I hate layovers. No, your layovers are a big no-no for me. So and where I had to go in Canada, there was no direct flights. So it was a layover. So getting there was fine, but coming home, the first flight had a delay. And I'm like, I swear to God, if I get fucking stuck in fucking Canada, in Vancouver, somewhere by myself, I'm going to fucking lose it, bro. As soon as this first plane landed, luckily I made it, and I did have some spare time. I got off this. I was nervous too because I had to go through customs again because I'm going back to the U.S. So I had to go through customs, security. I'm like, this shit better not be fucking these lies, better. I am hauling ass to the airport. Like, if somebody was to film this, it would have went haywire. It probably would have been funny watching this big fucking oof run through the airport to get to his next destination. So I'm hauling ass, security line, none. Went to the cop stuff to talk to him on why I was in Canada, whatever. I forget what that's called. No line. Luckily, I haven't had any issues. They all know who I am. Everyone has like, oh, you're a bodybuilder. Enjoy your stay. Have fun. I'm like, okay, great. Go through, hauling ass to the fucking line. I have a full bladder. I have to pee so goddamn bad, but I'm holding it. I'm like, I'm not risking it. That's a risky move. That's a risky move. I get to the thing. I hand her my ticket, and she's like, "Oh, you got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna go pee." I don't know why I felt the need to tell her that, but I did. And then I go pee. I got a nice drink of water. Sat down, boarded the plane with no problem. No, I just felt that. I literally was feeling like, and then it's 5 minutes. Oh God! All right, cool. But it's those are the things that I have to like truly get better at for myself. Like that's a me problem, you know? So I have to learn, especially now. I think being with who I am now, the rise, everyone, and I love it. I don't want to get I don't love traveling because I love meeting the people. I think that's the fun part. Once the traveling's done and I'm there, I love it. I'm fun. You know what I mean? Like you have fun now, but I have to learn to get better at the packing, the traveling, because I'm going to be doing it a whole lot more once this Olympia is over. So those, I think, those are things that I know I'm going to have to work on. And I like to somewhat talk about it because I think some people think like I don't have issues. They just see me on Instagram like, oh, he's got the life. He's a bodybuilder. He's doing his thing. No, champ. We're all fucked up around here. You know what I mean? So, and I think when people hear that, they're like, oh, he's like us. There's relatable. You know what I mean? There's like, oh, okay, so he's human. And I think when people hear that, they can understand, like, even if they're not a pro, they're an amateur, or even a regular person trying to be fit, they're going like, okay, like this guy who's at the top deals with shit. Like, I'm okay then. Like, I'm good,
Yeah. There's got to be so many points of relatability. And I think that's like a little bit of why I tried to do this podcast. It's like everybody that I've ever talked to in the shop, like whether they had stupid money or no money, whether they were fat, fit, jacked, short, tall, whatever, everybody's got something. Yeah. Like, and everybody's got something. There's no secret special like formula to life. It's like
there's not. There's no. And I think what bothered me was when it came to like all the traveling. I felt like companies, wanted me because I was at the top. So for me, when they say, "Hey, we need you to travel here," and in my mind, I'm like, I'm the best because I didn't move from the house.
Yeah.
I did it a certain way to get to this level. So in my mind, I'm like, why are you trying to take that away from me? Well, the reality is,
was that hard?
It's not at all what it is.
No. Yeah. You got work. You know what I mean? Like, because if you really think about it, we both live off a structure. It's like, if someone told me to go, you did it. I can this week, or no, I do it here.
And that's why I become very, I set the boundaries now because I realized, okay, in the off season, like you can't be a bum on the ass. You know what I mean? Like you got to go out places, you got to do, and I'm fine with it. I get it. I'm all for it. But that's why, as much traveling as I did, which I don't think it took away from necessarily me making progress, so to speak. I feel like I've done a lot. But mentally, I'm like, okay, I did a lot. I want to fully lock in now. I did everything you guys wanted, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. We had a great time. But I'm a bodybuilder, and I have a job to do, and I want to be Mr. Olympia. It's time to lock in. And everyone's out of cool with that, Like, I have some of my sponsors, they're going to come to Vegas so they can film me instead of me going there. In which there's that mutual understanding. It's like, okay, we'll come to you, we'll get some footage, we'll have some fun. And I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck. Just, I'm staying in the element for these next, few weeks before we, as we get cranking. So that's why there's just a nice mutual understanding with that. But again, I don't want to come off as if I don't like traveling because I think it's really cool. And one thing that I really enjoy, obviously what comes with traveling, when you meet people that like are waiting in line for you, like that's fucking awesome. Honestly, that's one of the coolest feelings. Like you have people waiting in line to meet you. Like that's dope, right? That's a feeling that doesn't ever get old. Like I did it we did what, 4 stores. I got goosebumps every store because it was just like, oh shit, But I think it's cool when you hear people's stories and why they got started. Even if like they don't even say, hey, you motivated me. Like it was just their story of like, hey, this, I went through this, training helped me with it's just cool to just hear how people overcame shit, And I think that to me doesn't get old. I had some kid, tell me he almost gave up life, and then he watched some of my motivational videos and some of my struggles, and it made him push forward. Like that shit's emotional, like because when I started the journey, like my first thought honestly wasn't, hey, let me inspire people. It's I'm tunnel vision of becoming the best bodybuilder. But through it all, you realize you're motivating and you're inspiring people. You don't even know it. And I think that's become probably my favorite part in all this.
Yeah. Do you see why the barbershop's so addicting though?
Yeah.
Why that has like some type of like I don't know. It's just kind of like that same feeling, like to know what else is like. There's so many lives out there that like I think people get kind of caught up in their own. I've definitely been there before, where it's just me, and not just me as in like a selfish. I'm doing my thing, but it's like it's just me in this world, And then I forget, like, fuck, there's a whole nother me over there and over there and over there. It's like holy shit, there's a fuck ton of me's, and it almost like kind of like me into a check to where like once I started realizing that the barbershop went kind of from I'm just doing my job, and then next year kind of just randomly turned into that like that motivational like spot to do something.
Hell yeah. That's why like anytime I get cut by a barber, they love the job. And I think it's for the same reason. It's like it's not the cuts, bro. It's the stories we hear. Like that's what makes it the best. And I know for you, even when I always get cut by you, stories would be going around all fucking day, bro. So I can see it's a job, right? But it's also a way to just express. Yeah. It's a way to kind of let stress out. It's a way to, even for you, being older, I think, you giving advice to like the younger ones that come in for the haircut that have questions. You're not just cutting hair. You're helping people, so I get it.
Dude, it's tough though. Like, I think to some degree, I think it would be easier if I could give them motivation and then like set them off into the wild. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when they come back, it's like, I'm like invested with everybody. Like, all right, what's going on? Like hearing the story, like, and we got some stories of, yeah, I'm cheating on my wife and like this shit's going on.
Oh yeah, you get those stories.
But then you got the whole, all right, look, man, I'm like 50K in the hole. I owe this bookie a lot of money. And I'm like, okay, there's communication that we need to figure out. But like, I think we're
figure it out here.
No, I think that's what the barbershop like was so bred on. It's like problem solving. Like all the guys that come in there to different personalities, like,
well, because you know what it is too, Jay? It's you weren't actually in a barbershop. It was your home. So people felt, I think, more comfortable to express things in the comfort of your home by yourself. Like I'm sure in a barbershop, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you heard some shit. But I do feel
it got very intimate once I like made it private.
That's like, what I'm saying. Now once you're in, you had to build your own. It's just really kind of just all our friends. Sometimes it's just you and somebody else, no one in there. It gets personal. It gets more personal,
Yeah. Dude, you know what the hardest part is? And even times when we've had conversations where I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like the few times that we've had some real deep ones, I was like, whoa, okay. Let me understand this a little bit. Like that's been the hardest, but most rewarding thing. It's like, I've been given like the gift of like understanding, like, okay, I am not in your head, I'm outside. And you just told me that. It's like, okay, I honestly think that's why my business did so well. Like everything stayed like up here. Like there's I'll tell you what, sometimes all the fucking stories up here and all the things I've heard, like, because the hardest part is it almost makes life like it's like a multiverse.
Yep.
It's almost like a giant multiverse. It's like, hold on 1 second. Like, I got to go to the bank today. It's like, hold on, let me go download Brian's. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, Brian told me to do this. And then you get it out. All right, back to my world. Like, it's like everybody's like stories kind of like help me get to like really interesting fucking places. You know what I mean? Like that got addictive and also scary because you don't know what's contradicting itself for like a greater good.
No, exactly. But I think, and I also think another reason why, the business did well is it's a stress relief. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not, you give great haircuts. I'm not taking that way. But people come and they vent.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times where like, when I couldn't wait to get my hair cut because I'm like, I got so much shit to let out on this motherfucker.
Don't hit the cord. Don't hit the cord. Come here, bro.
Oh, the doggy. Hey, look at the size of that head.
Dude, he got big, man. Oh, shit.
I know. I was saying, why does he look so big?
Dude, he's like 125 pounds right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, he was like a little fucking thing. Watch out, big guy.
Oh.
What you want, big guy? Yo, I'll tell you what, though. I wanted to... All right, come on, big guy. So I got a quick question for you because it's something that I would love for you to be able to kind of shed a little light on. I had a couple of people since I started this podcast, kind of like you said, the privacy, the criticism, stuff like that. A couple of people were talking about my bone disorder. They were kind of like, what, you broke 70 bones, all these things. And I was like, yeah. It's almost like when you go back to the mindset you were talking about where it's like, no, you kind of have to like challenge yourself at all points. Like at this point in my life, fitness did that for me. Yeah. And there's also like a testament to what you're saying. Like fitness can kind of get you through a lot. Like I should have wheelchair. You know what I mean? So at this stage in my life, to almost still be able to do this is like a testament to fitness, whether it's bodybuilding and shit like that. It's like, to some degree, this saved my life from a physical perspective. But from the physical perspective, being able to keep moving, I was able to grow my,
You're stronger mentally.
Yeah.
And that's another, and as I can touch on that, like, even if you are, someone is somewhat mentally weak, but they challenge themselves physically, I think it allows them to see what they're capable of, which in return will develop a stronger mental state of mind.
Absolutely.
I
watched you do it. My dad's got the same bone disorder too, and you've seen him. He's 55 and he's fucking
cranking, and I think, so to touch on it in terms of like privacy, I think that is something maybe, you should talk about more, because privacy is fine in the sense of, let's say you and your girl, you broke up, right? That's no one's business.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? You've had a problem your whole life and found ways to overcome it and live somewhat a normal life and work out and do all these things. Yeah, you broke a shit ton of bones here when you were younger and still are, I think, a little bit, but you found ways to make it stronger. You found ways to physically make yourself stronger. You found ways to mentally make yourself stronger. And I'm sure there's many people on here that have that disorder that you could tell a story to and help them.
See, this one's tough, actually. Even if people are watching this podcast, could, reach out and maybe drop some people. But, it's very tough to actually find people that have this disorder that are actually my age.
Well, guess what? Guess what though? It might not even be someone who has the same disorder. Just the story you have will help you.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like when I decided to come out and open up to, you know, when I was molested and how I overcame it, things of this nature, it helped people that just had a whole nother situation, but they were able to see what I did to overcome certain things, which they were like, I could do it too. You like, even though the situation was a little different, they applied those types of methods to help themselves. So just because many people might not have the same relatable story as you, does not mean your story will not help people.
I see what you're saying. I might have to open up a little more on that.
Because it's motivating. You know what I mean? Like, how old are you again? 33?
Yeah, about to be 34.
You old fuck. But you're 34 years 34 years old.
Oh.
I know you still got a full head of hair though. 34 years old, and you have probably been through more shit than most people I know that are, you know, 80 years old. You know what I mean? And in a short amount of time. You know, due to the, you know, the disorder that you have. So even for me, you know, I don't have that shit. We have Twitter, but seeing how you live life, like you're always happy, Jay. You're always smiling, and at the blink of an eye, you could break a leg. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't let it discourage you. You don't let it. You don't think about it. You don't worry about it. You live life, and that is a sense that people can learn from. You know what I mean? You're not afraid to do shit, knowing, yeah, I could fuck myself real bad here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? You're not afraid to just say fuck it, you know? And I think a lot of people can learn from that honestly may not even have that bad of a life or a situation. Could be like, you know what? They fuck it too, you know? Like, this guy could literally fall over and break a tailbone, and I'm over here bitching about stuff that's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like,
yo, I did that before. I'll tell you what, that was you know how hard it was to take a shit? Listen, it was,
I gotta know though, at one point, leading to now, have you broken almost every bone in the body?
I got 70 total breaks, and that's not counting like fingers and all that. But I mean, I'm going to say probably like 50% of my body is callus, like callus development from the breaks. I think I've fractured a part of my neck, but never actually broke my neck.
Okay.
I've fractured my spine 3 times. One of them was when I was deadlifting. Dude, I had the fucking hex bar. And I had the straps.
Ah, the heck bar.
I love that. And you know what? To this day, it fucking ruined my life for a year. But I'll tell you what.
I still love it, though.
I love it. Yeah, I have 405, and I was just kind of just sitting there, just cranking out a few. And on like the 5th rep, I was getting a little shaky. And I was like, all right, I let go. And I forgot I had the straps in. So the straps just yanked my body, just snapped it. I was a shitty.
Well, let's use that as an example. Listen to what you're saying. You broke your back or your spine using the hex bar, right? You didn't let it discourage you.
Nah.
You went back and still, but there's some people out there that might get an injury just because they fucked around. And now they're all like, oh, I can't do this. Like, oh, shit. Meanwhile, it's easy for someone like you to break a bone, but you're like, ah, fuck it. You know, it's okay. I'll be back. Yeah, so people hear that shit. It's inspiring. It's motivating.
I see what you mean. It is an interesting state of mind though, and this is why I love like always having a talk with you, because it's very comparable. It's understanding you can't really I'm trying to think of this, like you can't really hold yourself to a boundary. you kind of,
No.
you don't want to really be sitting still. And I think that's kind of where, like, I'm always talking about it in the shop. I'm like, I like to ask people, so what's up, man? What you been up to? I always hate when I hear not much. And I'm like, really? You got a whole 2-3 weeks. How much happens? It's like, never happens. You know, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm learning I live life different, and, lost a lot of the own judgment I've had on life, just everybody's living different, but I still like to hold people a little accountable, like if they complain. Like if you're not a complainer and you like your life, it's like, I'm kind of cool with that. Like we could kind of chop it up amongst that, like amongst that.
Yeah, listen, if you live a regular life, whatever, where you're comfortable, you get by and you're happy,
Yeah.
fucking A, bro. But if you're that person, but yet complaining about everything, then do something.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm very fortunate that I had, the parents that I had but because of how much as a parent they were willing to help me, that's what gave the drive to push harder for what I really wanted to do. And, I'm not exactly in the position I want to be yet, but there will come a time when I can just maybe hand my mother and father some keys and say, here's your new house,
Yeah.
You don't got to worry. That's like the end goal, because I mean, and I express this as another time. See, when you're a child, you don't really grasp what type of sacrifices your parents are making for you. You don't really know what goes behind the scenes. And, I had some incidents where I was like, oh, fuck, like they're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like those moments where like, I think I then began at a young age to apply that pressure on me to succeed. And whenever I lost the show, I felt like I failed. Not my stuff, I felt that. Because as much as I'm putting into this, they're putting the same amount, if not more, So it's like when I turned pro, it was like my mom and dad turned pro, you know what I mean? Like they were like, fucking A, and luckily it was that time when my life did completely change. I moved to Florida. I was able to start making my living for me, and give them the break. I'll still never forget, like, it was a big deal, when I turned pro. Like, my mom was very emotional. She was very happy to celebrate. And it was like 3 days later, I'm like, moving to Florida. And then, like, she just, like, broke down in a million fucking tears. Happy tears, because it was like, she's happy, that it's finally happening. The dream that I always wanted is finally coming to fruition, So those were really moments that I don't think I'll ever forget, And I even my dad, he doesn't get emotional too often, and if he does, he kind of runs away, says, "Oh, I got a shit," But wasn't thing. And it was when they dropped me off at the airport. And it was the first time during that little situation, I seen him break down just, a little bit, And like, again, it wasn't because I was leaving. It was more like, you're finally doing it now. Yeah. Like, this is what you've always wanted, and it was like, as a parent, it's like when your kid succeeds, you succeed.
Yeah.
And I feel like the older I've got, the more I've learned this. And now I'm just at a point where, like, I want to be the best I can be, and then be able to, at some point, be able to, give back to them as much as I can,
I feel the same way, dude. I told you before we started this.
Yeah.
was a whole bunch of shit. But I'll tell you what, for the family, worth it 100%, man. It actually was something that felt as weird as everything had turned for me. To see everybody in the family thrive off of a couple moves was like, wow. Sometimes maybe that's the key to certain things. It's just I hated that I was doing really well for a while, and then I kind of heard a couple people, needed help. Just in many ways, emotionally, like life is hard for people, and it's like sometimes we don't see it in other people when we're just doing our thing. And I got there, and I'm like, fuck, man, what am I missing? And sometimes entrepreneurship kind of fucks you up a little bit. You're off in your own world. It's like, shit, man, you needed me. My bad. Like, it's like, fuck, I was over here. Like, you didn't call.
Right. No, I don't.
But I don't know. I love what you're saying, dude, because I got that feeling past year, like to see like everybody coming up, and I'm like, wow, like, selfishness is pretty cool. And I think some people, they're all about being one way, but to keep the family good, we didn't come from like extravagantly rich homes, like to where it's like, hell no, I would love to see my parents not have to fucking go to work. Like they, you know what I mean? They did it for us for so fucking long. Trust me, you've heard all my bullshit over the years. It's like, my parents deserve a fucking medal. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like they
Rounding it up some paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, like I'll never forget when I did Chicago Pro for my pro debut, and I got fourth, and I won like $4,000. I gave them the whole thing, because like I wanted to win. I wanted it was 10 grand, and I wanted the whole fucking thing. So I could be like, here. But I'm like, yeah, it was 4 grand. But to see the smile on their face, and it was like, it's even though it wasn't what I wanted to give you, it's just the smile is always worth it.
Yeah, I think that's real. I think those are the moments, man. I think some people like to buy the moment, but like when there's really that connection between, it's like, yo, I have this for you. Like the sacrifice sometimes is so mutual. Is like, I think that's what's real. I think that's what actually keeps shit going. It's like, no, hold on, this wasn't so selfish that like I couldn't share it with nobody. I feel like that's like the killer of joy. Like, I could never be a fucking millionaire and my mom still have bills. That would make no fucking sense to me. You know what I'm saying? My sister wouldn't.
I wouldn't be okay with it.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's weird. This world's turning. I think this is getting a little lost. Sticking together and always making it like, yo, family is what's important. It's tough, man. A lot of people have a hard time communicating. I've seen that over the last few years.
I mean, listen, I even struggle sometimes with communicating, and I think it's a common thing. But it's being worked on, and I think every day it's just, you can't be afraid to express yourself, open up, even if you're gonna get some backlash. You're gonna get you always have to express and get whatever you're feeling off your chest, because it's like, if you keep things bottled up for so long, it's like a fucking ticking time bomb. And when that bomb goes off, it's going to be a lot worse than if you were able just to communicate a long time ago.
I'm still working.
I'm still working. I've been in those situations. It sucks, but you learn from it.
Yeah, dude. Trust me, man. I've learned a lot from you in this process. You've been so far away. I mean, I saw you when you came back from the Arnold. No, yeah, you won the Arnold. Then he came home. I'm so happy to see it.
Yeah, I need to come home again. That's the only time, if I was to ever like travel again right now, it would be to come home, because I'm comfortable there. It's my environment. So I feel like I'll have to call home pretty soon anyway, because my mom is on hospice now, so we'll see how that goes.
I was gonna make a joke that the roads are still shit, but yeah, fuck.
Those roads don't get any better, bro.
Fuck no. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. The taxes out here, I don't understand why they're so fucking high. Just like this hilarious shit.
Yeah, they don't do nothing with it.
But I could take less stores and like better roads. If anybody's listening, anybody's gonna tune into this, somebody get
Fix
this.
the roads.
Fix the fucking roads, man. Yeah, what time is it?
I feel like it's been a good minute.
I'm dude, literally I got the fucking phone over there. I've completely gotten lost with time. Like this is
7:30.
7:30. Oh, so it's 10:30. Oh yeah, here we're
Yeah. It's 7:30 my time, 10:30 your time.
yeah, I'm thinking I'm like, yo, I'm starting to get tired. Like I know I'm stoned, bro. Like,
I know it's strong, but this is I'm tired of it.
yeah, dude, I worked all day today. Fucking came here and I was like, yo, how the fuck do you zoom this thing? I'm tech illiterate here. I'm like, if
I know this would be good that you have it. So now, like, if you want to do somebody else that kind of isn't around, now you know,
dude, this is cool. It's like it sucks you're not here, dude. You know, just like I'm gonna be like, yeah.
I know. Whenever I come visit, well, let's do it in person.
Absolutely, man. I'll be honest. You got to give me a heads up so I can get like a supportive chair. I'll be honest. I think these hold.
How's Mark doing?
Mark's doing good, man. Looks
What's he up to these days?
bought a house. Fucking guy's in crazy shape. Got a great girl. Dude, he's doing well, man. He's actually rising really high to like one of the top of his company. Like, I'll be honest, man. A lot of people. I'm proud, dude. Same, dude. They're just fucking crushing it right now. I mean, I talk to them both at least like once a week and just, always kind of not like we're always on our asses, but it's like, yeah, how we doing this week? It's like, and we always got something is moving, something is getting somewhere,
I miss those guys.
Dude, trust me, they miss you too.
Me and Mark used to be like, this at one point. You remember?
I don't know. I remember when you guys competed. That was cool, man. That being a part of that whole experience, dude. To watch it, that was what honestly. That's what I learned. What you go through. I was like, yo, hold up.
Mark had a tougher time.
Yo,
do remember?
I gave up, man. Once I started doing your diet, I was like, I got this. And then you started telling me, all right, now come down. And just, you weren't even telling me like the numbers. You were just helping me out a little bit. I got to a point where I was like, fuck, man, I'm tired. I'm irritated. I'm like, how the fuck do you, and I think that was the day where I'm like, you know what? That's where my respect for bodybuilding came in. I knew at that moment, I'm happy I tried it because you know what? Yo, you have to be like, I'm disciplined. And I guess I'm disciplined to how I work. You know what I mean?
But it's the different ball game. It's versus you have somebody who likes to eat, they have their meal plan, they eat, they're strict, they train. But then you have the other side where it's like, okay, I'm gonna do a show.
Yeah.
And then it's like you just take what you're doing and then like multiply it by like 4. And it's just about to get real serious.
Dude.
That
was hard, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why, I think he did, but I don't know. Well, my brother hesitated because he's seen what I went through a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm good.
One thing, though, and I could tell you I'm going to say something really weird for a second that I appreciate. When you were going through prep, right, you were coming to get a cut, we were just talking, and you showed me, like, how understanding you could be in a dark place. I remember when you would tell me that, and after you would leave, I would sit there and I'm like, that was such a bold like that was such a bold thing to say. And like, I thought about it for a long time and I was like, wow, that's a different understanding of oneself to know that you could be there, come out. Like, it's tough. Like, I know a lot of people.
No, it was, because I think to a degree, everybody kind of knows they're in a dark place,
Yeah.
and I do think the hardest part, obviously, is coming out of it. But you have to figure out first why you went into it. You have to figure out what's triggering you to stay in it, and you have to eliminate it. And then you have to find ways. You have to find certain things that occupy you, that make you happy, that make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not, but you have to be consistent. You have to stay on this right path. And you're going to notice without even realizing, you're slowly just becoming happier. You have a routine going that you didn't even realize you had going. And next thing you know, whatever dark path you were in, it's like me being molested, right? It's always going to be there. It's never going to leave. And I think that's when people go through certain situations, you have to just accept that's part of you. It's you can't escape it. It's part of you. But you can choose to overcome it or let it consume you. And, and I let it for years, consume me for who I was. And I'd point the finger at everybody doing this, doing that. And, when they're out, you're in control of yourself. And this thing that I'm still learning now, you're the one that's in control of what you do, your moves. You control that, no one else.
Yeah.
So, yes.
We do that. I had one of those moments, right? Sitting in a barbershop one day, and I was like, I didn't know how to feel accountable. I didn't know what I was accountable for. You know what I mean? I was running through my head. I'm like when I was going through some tough times where I'm like, yo, something's wrong. Like I have to be the cause of something. You know what I mean? Like it can't just be everybody else. And then I remember I was sitting in the shop and I just fucking ate a fucking tab of acid. And I was like, you know what? Let me just sit back in a chair. Within an hour, I completely felt like I went through a whole database in my head of everything that I would never want done to me that I did to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I think at that moment, that was where I was like, now this is the day to start changing. Always just kind of being aware of like, because every now and then I can snap off my hinge, like, trying to, when you're working so long, like being in a particular type of mindset for so long, it's like there comes a point where it's like, I'm actually on edge. And like there is that person that like just somehow manages to snap it. And it's like, fuck. It's like, fuck, how did I get there? You know what I mean? It's like, I really sat there.
And I think that can be a problem. Like sometimes you enter these dark places and you don't even know how the fuck you got there. I've been through it. I'm like, how did I even like get to this point? And then you have to start really rationalizing with yourself. Like, okay, what's keeping me here? What might have triggered me to get here?
Yeah.
And what am I going to do about it? And I think for a lot of people, that's where, depending on the situation, right? That's where the comfortability comes. They might know why they're in this dark spot, but they're afraid to make a change because of what could happen.
Yeah.
So they rather stay and keep getting, stay this whatever dark place, keep getting worse, stagnant, whatever, instead of making the jump. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And you have to be mentally strong. Like, you know what? Yeah, if I leave a certain situation, I might be fucked for a while, but I'm going to end up happier.
I like to just say, it'll be all right. We figure it out.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, especially if a situation, depending, who, what, whatever, is like that bad, that would be good to say, like, you know what? I'll be all right. I'll get it here.
Something I'm learning though, and I've had to make a correction in my own, like, helping people out in the shop this way. I always would get sometimes angry that I'm like, yo, why the fuck didn't you understand that? Like, I've actually caught myself recently, like, sitting there going, yo, I expect you to understand this. I'm like, fuck, hold on. No, I went through this at this particular point in my life that made me realize that this person never did, so they don't understand it. And I'm like trying to get to a point where most of the people I see in the barbershop, we're all pretty like lined up. Like, we all get each other, like we're all there. And then every now and then there's this one moment where, like, I said, what the fuck do you mean you don't understand this? And I'm like, oh fuck, my bad, dude. Like, this was common for me.
Yeah.
Someone's experienced something for the first time, and I'm like, all right, hold on, I got to take myself out of this for a second. It's like, this is your problem you're having for the first time. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm acting like a fucking straight jerk off about it. But to me, it's like, I don't mean to be. It's just, it was one of them things where it's like, I learned that lesson so fucking hard. It's like, I almost feel like that projects out.
Yeah, that's normal though.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like somebody going through the same thing, but you just went through it harder. So when they're bitching about it, you're like, yo, motherfucker. No, I get it. And I think that's normal. You just kind of have to catch your stuff in the act a little bit.
Yeah. My bad, bro.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, my bad. Let me give you some advice here.
Yeah, let me hit the bong real quick.
Yeah, right. Well, let's talk about it.
Yo, that's the one thing that kind of sucks in the shop though, because like there's so many conversations that, we start getting deep, and it's like, oh fuck, man, now I'm in that place again, and it's like, but I got the answers. So now it's like when they're trying to concoct it, I'm like, no. Listen to me. This is what you do. Like, don't defer. This isn't the manual. It's like, this is what happens in life. Do it this way. And it's just like, for the longest time, I just went against the grain. I'm like, nah, I gotta know it. Like, I gotta know it. And then after knowing whole shit, I'm like, nah, I'm starting to, like, that acid trip, dude. I was sitting in my head that day, remembering all the things that people told me that I was like, yeah, I definitely told him to go fuck off. I was like, whoops. And he was some straight heat too.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. This was awesome, man. It feels good to talk to you again, because you know what?
Hey, man, it's been way too long,
Oh. Kind of crazy though, because all those times, man, like, you helped me out, and I appreciate that.
We've done a lot for each other, Not many people know that, It's crazy.
I know, man. Well, look, enjoy the rest of, you have the rest of your evening. I'm going to go call it a night, bro.
Yeah, you go to bed.
You too.
All right, bro.